Knudsen,
What's going on, Tursky?
this is Two Guys Talking Golf,
Live on camera.
the video version. All right, so I got a plain white box sitting in front of me.
Looks like a box that golf balls would come in.
It would. Normally, they would have some labels or logos on them.
Yeah.
Now, this one says 2019 Proto,
Proto.
and that's it. I'm sure the camera can't see it that
Yeah.
far.
We'll try to put up a little
Put a
photo.
little
something.
right here. So inside, we look. There's more white boxes.
Just plain
Just
white boxes.
Plain white boxes, but you can kind of see in the middle. See
Yeah.
a little Titleist on there.
I was about to say, I could see little Titleist through that window.
Then you open up the package, and you get some Titleist golf balls that have black numbers, others with red numbers.
We've seen this somewhere before.
And it says 2019 Proto written on the side, very small.
Instead of saying Pro V1, Pro V1X, AVX, whatever.
One would have to assume these would be something in 2019 along the lines of a Pro V1 and a Pro V1X. So, as two guys talking golf,
Yep.
who also play golf, we don't just talk, we also play.
We do.
We decided to take the balls for a little test drive.
We did. We both went our separate ways after work yesterday.
Yep.
And went to the old chipping and putting greens at our local munis.
I go to a muni. You
So
go
do
to a
I.
muni as well.
Yep. And and gave him a little short game test.
So we hit the 2019 Protos against the 2017. Is that when they came out? 2017
Yeah,
Pro
I think so.
V1, Pro V1Xs.
Yep.
The new ones.
Yeah, current.
The newest ones, yeah, current. So what'd you think?
So they definitely sound a little different.
Yep.
So for both balls, I noticed it more on the Pro I'll say the Pro V1X because we're going to go ahead and assume that black number is Pro V1, red number is Pro V1X.
We'll make that assumption.
we're
We
gonna
could be
assume.
wrong, but we're not.
So the Pro V1X, I noticed it more, and it's a different pitch to when you make contact. I mean, you notice it more with the putter, but you do notice it with a wedge as well. That it's more of I'll call it more of a clack than a click. It's a little lower
It has
pitch.
more of a dense feel.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
and like we were talking about before off camera, it almost feels like the cover is a bit more separated from the ball on the previous balls.
Yep.
And like they figured out some way to glue the cover like closer to the inner core or something to give it a more solid, dense feel.
Agree.
So what do you think about performance?
So I'm only in my local putting and chipping green. I could hit a maximum of like a 30-yard shot.
Okay.
So from the little chipping area to the absolute other side of the green is about 30 yards. So that was about I could hit, and I brought my 52 and my 60 from my original set, not my single length stuff, so I could get a real good feel. And
I was testing righty actually.
Were you?
Yeah.
And then I brought two putters. I brought my my Odyssey Pro Type number 7, which is an all milled, no insert putter, and then I brought my number 7, so I could kind of hit soft insert versus milled putter and hit them both.
You took this pretty seriously.
Yeah,
You took this more seriously than I did.
This is legit homework here.
Yeah.
And performance, I thought again the feel and the sound was the biggest thing I noticed when I hit what I thought was Pro V1 versus Pro V1. I noticed less of a difference in terms of that sound and that feel. The Pro V1X I noticed more. In terms of performance, though, on like those 30-yard shots, I didn't really notice a whole lot. Maybe that first bounce would bite just a hair harder.
Mm-hmm.
But rollout was pretty similar. And again, like we were talking kind of before today, a lot of it has to do with the contact of the strike. And, we're not Jordan Spieth. We're not, these tour guys. But I would say that first initial hit maybe bit a little bit more, and then the rollout was probably about the same.
Yeah, so my process was I hit everything off a fairway in the little chipping area. Maximum's probably 20 yards. I would hit one new Pro V1X versus one old one new one old one, and I'd just keep going back and forth hitting. I spent about like an hour
Yeah.
just hitting them back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And the biggest difference is a feel difference, because you definitely can feel where it's just a denser contact and it has the clank instead of the click. And I didn't think the previous Pro V1s or Pro V1Xs were clicky.
No.
But you can just tell that there's a difference, and I do think they figured out some sort of way to put the cover on differently. Now, performance-wise, to me, I didn't really notice much difference.
Yeah.
If we're being honest. I felt the older balls, if anything, maybe they launched a little bit higher.
Yeah.
Which would probably lead to a little less spin.
Yeah,
Whereas
possibly.
the new ones maybe came out a little bit lower. But such minimal differences that you almost can't pick up without being more of a skilled chipper of the golf ball, where you're hitting it literally the same way every single time, and you can really tell. That's all I got.
Yeah. I mean, with putting, I mean, they both, I mean, I didn't notice anything, either one of them either skidded more or changed. They both putted the same, again, other than feel.
Yep.
Like I said, the difference between the Pro V for me was close. And then when you put it on an insert putter, like my number 7 with that white hot, it even masked it even further. It was a lot harder to tell which ball was which when putting with that insert. So, flight wise, I didn't notice a big difference. But again, 30-yard chips and hitting some 60 degrees out of the rough and stuff like that, I didn't really notice a difference in trajectory. Maybe when we get them out and you can play full wedge shots and stuff like that, you might see a bigger difference there.
Trying to see if we have any durability issues with either ball, and no.
No, I mean, for me, it was the same thing. I didn't notice anything. I mean, neither one of them scuffed up, and thankfully I didn't skull any into the parking lot, so I didn't have to worry about that.
Looks like the dimple patterns are the same, too.
Yeah, I didn't notice a big difference in that. I mean, I would, of course, the ones we were testing had our Two Guys Talking Golf logo on it, so.
Shout out us.
Shout exactly. So it was a little easier to know which one was which, but I tried to hide the logo when I rolled them down. But, like you, I was probably out there about an hour, maybe a little more as well. And
yeah.
Like I said, the biggest thing coming away from me is feel, and I do like the feel and the sound of the new one better.
Definitely. So I got some brief information from a Titleist tour rep.
Okay.
He said, you wouldn't be off base to point out that Titleist historically launches their new Pro V1 and Pro V1X prototypes in Las Vegas, where the original models debuted in 2000. And then the market launches them worldwide in January at the PGA Merchandise Show. All of the Team Titleist members who receive them have been asked to test them against their current gamer, and then we will be following up with them with a survey to provide their feedback.
Gotcha.
So we got nothing.
Yeah, so we really have nothing for you yet.
We got
concrete.
Absolutely nothing. We have our own experience, which we just shared with you guys. And
it's interesting that they wait that long to have the Team Titleist members test them. You would think that maybe they would test them like earlier in the year. And now I know you're trying.
I think they're testing them right now. I think.
Yeah, but
these boxes they've also sent to Team Titleist members, right?
Yeah, I mean I've seen the posts on Instagram and Twitter and all that, and I've seen some posts in our forums that people have them. I was just thinking like if you send them out say in June, July, that gives people a little longer to play them. You can get that feedback. I feel like testing them now, by the time you get feedback, if there is something that's like, hey, you know what, this does feel different or whatever, and they want to change it, does that give them enough time to really change something before a January release? By the time you're sending them out, you're getting feedback, but you've pretty much already cemented that design in, I would think.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe they can make changes on the fly like that, but
it probably takes them until around this time to get something. They're like, okay, this is an improvement.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
No, it's true. I guess it depends. We don't know the inner workings of that ball design and what the timelines are yet.
Be a good conversation to get one of their golf ball engineers on our Two Guys Talking Golf podcast.
I think you're right.
Look out for that. All right, Knudsen, thanks for joining me on this Two Guys Talking Golf video.
Hey, anytime.
And thanks for tuning in.